Counter-Attack Podcast with myself, Daps. Yo, Counter-Attack Podcast with myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that good stuff. I'm back. Just spent a week in New York, making moves. Yeah, guys, be ready for International Week. I'll fly out to Morocco, I think tomorrow. If you're watching this on Monday, so I might fly out to Morocco the day, that either tomorrow or the day after, I don't know, for the Nigeria Super Eagles qualifiers, the playoff qualifying tournament, where hopefully Nigeria will go and do the business, beat Gabon, and then beat whoever wins the other game between Cameroon and Congo to make it to the final playoff next year for the World Cup. So yeah, that's a must-game win, but both of them are must-game wins. So yeah, I fly out to Morocco. I'm going to carry my content stick. So you guys are going to get the content by force. You're going to get the content by force. So that should be interesting. But, until then, we can talk about what's been going on, man. This weekend of Premier League football has been an interesting one. It's been an interesting one. I'm going to start off with Arsenal. Only because that was on Saturday and I didn't get to record because I was just coming back from New York. That Arsenal game was an interesting game. I think Sunderland away right now is probably one of the toughest games right now on form in the league right now. Nobody wants to go and play Sunderland. And if you've seen Sunderland play, you know that they're very competitive. They do not stop. They do not give up. And they just give you a really, really tough game. We've seen this year that they've beaten the likes of Chelsea already. They've beaten, was it West Ham they've beaten? Whoever it was that they've beaten. But, they're not fourth in the league by chance right now. Very, very tough game. They came out just in that low block, hoping to just get something against the run of play, which is what they did. And for that goal, by the way, I'm blaming Declan Rice for that goal. He just wasn't, the first header that he missed, I would have expected him to compete better. And his reaction when the ball comes back into that space, it was just a bit too slow. And obviously Ballard got onto it and then just fired it in. And then from there, they just weren't really interested in trying to break us down or trying to come out and play. Do you get what I'm saying? And we couldn't get any corners. They did really, really well in that first half. And Arsenal didn't do well at all in that first half. Second half now, it was much better from Arsenal. Saka gets his goal. Trossard gets his goal. Trossard played really, really well, by the way, and he deserved it. But, they ended up getting another goal. I think Raya is at fault for that one, and he should have stayed on his line. I don't know why he feels the need to come out. But, we could look at that game and, we could look at how the Arsenal-Sunderland game finished and say, this could have happened, that could have happened. But ultimately, I think, was it a fair result? I wouldn't say it was. I mean, on the balance of both halves, maybe. But I think Arsenal deserved more than a win, I would say. But then also, you look at Sunderland and, they stayed in the game. They got a chance at the end and they put it away. I think my thing with the Arsenal-Sunderland game was that I felt that Arteta waited too long to make any changes. And when he did make a change, it came in the 80-something minute, and it was a defensive one to put an extra defender on. I feel like we could have had legs on earlier, fresher legs, because the players did look leggy. Some of these players, most of the players had a long trip back to and fro for the Champions League. So I do feel like he should have made changes sooner. I feel like he should have brought on, Nwaneri's on the bench, even Dalman's on the bench, even a Lewis Skelly was on the bench. I feel like you could have brought these players on and actually, made it easier for some of these players because the players just could not move. Do you know what I'm saying? They looked a bit leggy towards the end and, Sunderland capitalised on that. But yeah, at the same time, Arsenal can't win every game. As much as I want Arsenal to go through the season unbeaten, Arsenal are not going to win every game. And, some games you're not going to be at it like they were yesterday, especially during the first half. But, you're going to get a job. But as long as you do not lose, away to Sunderland, for me personally, obviously I would have loved the win. I felt like we should have managed the game better, and we should have seen out that result. But when it's all said and done, I don't think that's the result that's going to cost us. I mean, as long as we don't have too many games like that, I think Arsenal will be okay. But also, it just goes to show the margins, because obviously Man City won today, and if we had won that yesterday, we'd be what 4 points. We'll be 6 points in front right now, and there's a big difference between 6 and 4. It doesn't seem so bad when it's 4, and we can't afford, over the course of a weekend, that could easily be 1 point. Do you get what I'm saying? And City look like they're picking up momentum, as we saw today. To go on to that game, we saw that Man City and Liverpool, this was being touted as, over the last couple of years, this is like one of the games of the season. The two big boys head to head. But they were miles apart today. Liverpool are so off it right now. And, we can talk about, the penalty that maybe shouldn't have been a penalty, but Haaland missed anyway. We can talk about Van Dijk's header, the goal that got disallowed, which I don't think should have been disallowed. We can talk about those things, but ultimately, when you watch the game over the course of 90 minutes, Man City were miles better than Liverpool, and Liverpool have real problems right now. In the last 10 games, they've lost 7 times, which isn't good. We know that. It's not good at all. And I just don't know where the problems are. Everyone can sit there and say the problem is this, the problem is that, but I just don't know where to start. Defensively, they're not at it. Now, at the beginning of the season as well, and yes, I'm going to say, at the beginning of the season, I called up Scorcher and I said, Scorch, I've got a hot take for this season. This is before a ball had been kicked. I called him up. I said, Scorch, I've got a hot take. And Scorcher, you can be in the comments now to basically co-sign what I've said. Is this true? And I said to you, I saw enough at the end of last season to know that we're not going to have that level of Van Dijk we've been seeing. Van Dijk is going to drop off. He's still going to be good, but we're going to see a different kind of Van Dijk. I said it at the beginning of the season. And I think that's a major part of what's been going on with Liverpool. Yes, it's not just all him, but I think he sets the standard, he sets the tone. And if he's not at it, trying to get everyone else around him to be at it is too big of an ask. And if we just look at today, I said when I saw the starting lineups, I was like, do you know what? Wirtz is in again. Should he really be starting this game ahead of Gakpo got left out? Should he be starting? I don't know. But the midfield three of Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister, they know their jobs. That's the same midfield that won the league last year. So they should be comfortable in there. And I knew it was going to be won and lost in that midfield. Who can get more control of it? And it just looked like they just had 6-7 people in that midfield. Liverpool's midfield were overrun, and then they were finding gaps. The way Man City played football, that looked like Man City of old. Man City were playing some good football. And even if you look at the goal that Haaland scored, that started with O'Reilly in the corner. By the way, O'Reilly, player. But yeah, that started with O'Reilly in the corner, and they popped it off, worked their way to the front, got a cross in. By the way, no one closed him down for that cross, which is criminal. And Haaland's obviously gone and scored. But that happened throughout the game. Liverpool were just getting played through with at ease. And in this level of game, you can't allow that to happen. Some might say that when Man City are playing like that, there's nothing you can really do. But I would have liked to have seen Liverpool players Gravenberch. He's been talked up. Sorry, Gravenberch. He's been talked up the last 18 months, and rightly so. But these are the games where you want to see a bit more from him. These are the games where, Man City should not be getting an easy ride in that midfield. Do you get what I'm saying? And I just felt like Gravenberch wasn't on it. Obviously, he can't do it by himself. But then McAllister also wasn't on it. For me, Szoboszlai, who has probably been, for me, their best player this season so far, he's the only one to really come out the game with any credit. Oh, and Bradley as well. Bradley had a good game. But that midfield just wasn't, it just wasn't doing it. You know, Shirky, who I feel, you know, has yet to really get started this season, had a great game against them today. You know, Nico Gonzalez, really, really good game. But like, I just wanted to see more from them. And then we get to like Konate. Listen, I don't know what's going on with Konate, because, you know, they highlighted in commentary that they can see that Man City were happy for Konate to have the ball. Whenever Liverpool had the ball at the back, Haaland would go straight to Van Dijk, make sure he don't get it, and they would leave Konate. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's interesting to see that they've, especially in possession, they've highlighted him as a weak link. And then defensively, for that goal, I personally feel he needs to do much better than that. He needs to do much better than that. For someone of his size, his ability, his agility, you can't make it that easy. Like, you should go and header that ball. Do you get what I'm saying? And I just felt like it was just a weak attempt to go and header that ball. And obviously Haaland gets his goal. But, you know, with all that being said, man of the match today, it has to be, and, you know, he got the official man of the match, but Doku, like, when we talk about players who have potential, Doku was one of those, potential, but his end product, we all know it just wasn't there. But you can see that, obviously, as he grows, as he gets more experience, as he knows his role, as he knows the league more and more, we can see that that's coming along. You know, he has such a good game today. And he was up against Conor Bradley, who also had a good game. I think sometimes when we say that wingers had great games, we just automatically assume the fullback didn't have a good game. I felt like Conor Bradley actually had a good game. But Doku gave the team problems. Do you get what I'm saying? And yeah, he's now scoring, he's now assisting. You know, he got the penalty. His goal as well, man, is just such a good goal, and they just could not handle him all game. And yeah, look, Man City now are 4 points behind Arsenal. This is why I don't get carried away. This is why I'm like, let me just see where we're at in March. Because for all of the games Man City have lost, I think they've lost 3 in the league this season already. For all of those games that they've lost, they're still only 4 points behind. I still believe Arsenal will win the league, but Man City will look at it and be like, as long as we're right there with them, come February, March, as long as we're right there, we can do it. And then you just never know. All it takes is for Arsenal to continue to have injuries, because it's a good thing we talk about the squad, because Arsenal's squad right now, depleted. The amount of players who are out, and they're like attacking players, the amount of players who are out right now is criminal. And you never know, that could still be the case in February, March, where we have players who are just injured. And then we go through a rough patch and Man City kick on and do their Man City thing. Do you get what I'm saying? We just never know. So for Man City, they're going to be looking at that and thinking, look, as long as they're right there with Arsenal, we can do anything. And they're building momentum. You know, Haaland, 99 goals, Premier League goals in 108 Premier League games. Crazy. Like, I don't think we've seen a goal scorer like that. 99 Premier League goals in 108 Premier League games. He's a freak of nature. He's an absolute freak of nature. Proper goal scorer. He doesn't even need to be clinical, you know. And I think sometimes we assume that the strikers with these numbers are just crazy clinical. And he's not. He's not even clinical like that. But what he is someone that can always get himself into positions and always like just get a sniff at a chance. Do you know what I'm saying? And as long as Man City have Haaland fit, they've got a chance with this league. I think they will struggle if they don't have him. Do you know what I mean? He's that important to them. But as long as they've got him, you know, one of the red hot strikers in the league right now. Oh, sorry, in the world right now. Him, Mbappe and Kane are just on a different level right now. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to make another video, maybe when I go live and talk about Chelsea. Chelsea obviously won as well. I'm just not convinced. And we keep talking about Chelsea, you know, as as title contenders and stuff like that. But I said it early on in the season, they might not even finish top 4, and that's not even me moving crazy when it comes to Chelsea. I just don't look at their squad and think, yeah, over the course of a season, we need to be worried about them. I think when it's going well for them, when it's going great, they're a great team. But when it's not, they just don't have the experience heads to get them through that, or the quality I feel needed to get them through those moments. But yeah, that's it from me. I'm going to record again tomorrow. But like I said, I'm in Nige this week. And also, you guys, make sure you rock out to the lives. I'm doing another live tomorrow. I've given out the rewards to some of the people that joined the live. I think there's one more person. I've not given out. I think I need to go on Instagram for them. But I'm going to do that today, actually. Because they're probably thinking, he said he was going to give me the giveaway. And he didn't do it. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that today. And yeah, so hopefully Nigeria can do it this week, guys. Stay with me. I'm going to be there every single day. I'm going to try to put out content every single day live from Nigeria. And hopefully, they can do it. Come on, Arsenal. Hopefully they can just keep it going. But make sure you come here during International Week. Guys, I'm out.